A heart is on the line each and every time love is stolen in the shadows of the night. Though it's wrong all along, it keeps going on as long as you keep it out of sight. Alan Jackson continued. But still you wonder who's cheating who? Who's being true? Who don't even care anymore? It makes you wonder who's doing right with someone tonight and whose car is parked next door. Welcome to TV, Tennessee Valley Church. This week, we're talking about cheating, but we know who's cheating who, at least in this week's story. It's Gomer, funny name I know, Hosea's wife, cheating on her patient, loving, unusually gracious husband. We're talking again this week about one of history's most well-known stories of infidelity, redemption, and restoration. The story of Hosea and his wife Gomer, found in the Bible's book named Hosea. In short, this is the story. Though his wife Gomer was unfaithful, Hosea wouldn't give up on her. Hosea followed Gomer's trail to the no-tell-motel district of Samaria and symbolized the love of God. Hosea, illumined by God's Spirit, noted the uncanny parallels between his relationship with his wife and God's relationship with his people. So the Bible's book of Hosea weaves together the story of the unfaithful wanderings of Hosea's wife and the grace of Hosea with the unfaithful wanderings of God's people and the grace of God Himself. This week, I want to remember the story of Hosea and Gomer with a concentration on Gomer. Gomer not only strayed from her marriage vows, she also seems to have sunk deep into the dark world of the sex trade. Hosea ultimately had to pay for her freedom, which indicates she had been, well, what we refer to today as trafficked. How did Gomer end up being the kind of person who would leave a healthy family and get sucked into the dark world of commercial infidelity? I won't imply more than we can know about Gomer's backstory, but maybe someone had abused her, leaving her feeling unworthy of anything better than sleeping around. Or maybe she had become desperate and maybe selling the most personal part of her life to men who cared nothing for her was all she knew to do. Maybe she thought she didn't deserve better. Years ago, back in Kentucky, I spent an entire day helping a young lady get a restraining order against her abusive boyfriend. She was done with him. But that night, I drove by her trailer, which was right across the road from our church, and there was his car in the driveway. I later asked her why in the world she had let him come back. "I don't deserve no better," she said. I can say with confidence that Gomer didn't wake up one day and decide out of the blue, "I think I'll jump casually into the beds of countless men." Gomer tried to fill some sort of emptiness or dull some sort of pain, and she ended up a slave to strangers. I wonder what toll her infidelity took on Gomer's emotions. I wonder, for example, if her heart ever ached over what she was doing to her loving husband, Hosea. It's not in the Bible, I know, but I can't help but wonder what Gomer might have been feeling. Some might remember the song by pop phenom Rihanna. The title is Unfaithful. These are some of the lyrics. She sang, "I know that he knows I'm unfaithful, and every time I walk out the door, I see him die a little more inside, and I don't want to hurt him anymore." I wonder if maybe Gomer ever felt that way about her husband, Hosea. I wonder if it haunted her to walk out on her husband. Old, naive, faithful, never have a love like this, Hosea. I don't know if she felt ashamed of what she was doing to Hosea, but I do know there were consequences. There always are. Even though she was redeemed by Hosea, although Hosea paid to have her freed from her handler, she had to suffer the consequences. Proverbs 26:27 says, "He who digs a pit will fall into it." Well, Gomer had dug her pit, and into it she indeed fell. She had to rebuild her relationship with her 3 children. She had to re-earn the confidence of her friends. She had to regain the trust of her husband. And then there were the memories that must have haunted her, the regret, the wasted years, consequences. Let's remember the scene when Hosea paid money to redeem his wife, to buy his own bride off the sex trade market. These are the first 3 verses of chapter 3 in the book of Hosea from the translation known as the Message.
Then God ordered me, start all over. Love your wife again. Your wife who's in bed with her latest boyfriend. Your cheating wife. Love her the way that I, God, love the Israelite people, even as they flirt and party with every god that takes their fancy. I did it. I paid good money to get her back. It cost me the price of a slave. Then I told her, from now on, you're living with me. No more whoring, no more sleeping around. You're living with me, and I'm living with you.
Hosea said, "Come home, but we're not going to play this cheating game anymore. I love you, but I won't share you." Though Gomer was rescued, her sin was neither overlooked nor excused. Reminds me of the scene of the adulterous woman thrown at Jesus' feet. Jesus told her, "I don't condemn you, but go and sin no more. Don't you do that stuff again." God's invitation to a new beginning is not cheap. Never mistake God's grace for indulgence. With God's offer of redemption comes a demand for our willingness to change. As has often been said, God loves us just as we are, but He loves us too much to leave us that way. In a few minutes, I'll be back to talk about making things right after we have messed up, after we have fallen into the pit we dug for ourselves.
Surely your goodness and loving kindness will follow me all my life. Surely your goodness and loving kindness will follow me all my life. You are my shepherd, I shall not want. When you are my shepherd, I shall not want. Surely your goodness and loving kindness will follow me all my life. Surely your goodness and loving kindness will follow me all my life. never forsake me, and you're a good Father. You'll never leave me, you never forsake me, you never forsake me, and you're a good Father, and you'll never leave me, you never forsake me, you never forsake me, and you're a good Father, and you'll never leave me, you never forsake me, you never forsake me. When you are my shepherd, I shall not want. When you are my shepherd, I shall not want.
This is Addie Wagner, and she's the Development Director at Crisis Services of North Alabama. Thanks for letting us hang out with you today.
Oh, thanks for joining us. Thank you.
Addie, Crisis Services of North Alabama, we've heard of it. What services do you offer?
So we offer a wide variety of services for individuals and families in crisis. Specifically, we have 3 main programs. So we have our domestic violence program, our crisis counseling program, and our forensic nurse examiners program.
And as we go through life, this is not a service that we ever plan on needing.
Yes.
You serve men and women, all ages. What happens when people, how do they get here?
Well, typically it's in a crisis, and they find themselves in a position of domestic violence, following a sexual assault, or just in a crisis. Perhaps it's a mental health crisis and they need someone to talk to. It's typically they find us through the web, at our website, or they call the helpline, and that number is 256-716-1000, and it's available 24 hours a day, and it's there for anybody who, might be having a really bad day, or perhaps they're having a mental health crisis, or they don't know where to turn and they need to get out of a really dangerous situation.
You have a new board member who was actually a client of Crisis Services, so that's full circle.
It is, and it's kind of a beautiful story to see, not how it happened, but the aftermath and where she's come now and how far she's come, and she's chosen to use her voice to help others. Her name is Tuette Clark, and she's a recent board member, and she's actually hosted fundraisers and helped us with our upcoming media package that we're having.
That's right, you have an ad campaign that'll be coming in September.
Yeah, she's helped us with the ad campaign that's coming out in September, because she wants to use her voice to help others and let them know that there is life after abuse, and that healing is possible, and that the resources are available for those in need.
And I think it helps, as we go through a crisis and can later hopefully help somebody else. I think it helps with our healing as well.
Oh, I agree.
And you have a personal story about how you were involved.
I do. That's kind of how I found out about Crisis Services. Was I needed their services following divorce from my previous relationships, and I used the court advocacy program, and that helped me get a protection from abuse order, and they kept a room available at the shelter if I needed it. Luckily, I was able to stay with a friend and was safe that way. But that's how I figured out about the services available, and it really helped me on my healing journey.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story, and we look forward to the ad campaign coming out.
Yeah, me as well.
Thanks, Addie.
Gomer, the promiscuous woman with the funny name, made a mess of things. Maybe some of us have as well. So, how do we make things right? Well, the Bible speaks of metanoia, a Greek word that means new thinking. New thinking, for example, about yourself. I want to talk for a moment to that person who feels dirty, who feels secretly ashamed, who feels unworthy perhaps of love, as Gomer must have. I read the story of Sarah Bessie, who as a 19-year-old new Christian who deeply loved Jesus, sat in a small group at church one night and listened to a minister. The minister passed around a cup and asked the teenagers there to spit in it. After the cup had made its rounds and everybody had given their contributions, he asked the crowd, "Would you want to drink out of that?" And then he made his application. This is what you're like if you have sex before marriage. You're asking your future husband or wife to drink this cup. His message was clear. If you have sex before marriage, you become damaged goods. Sarah understood his attempt to discourage teens from having sex, but she already had made bad decisions with her body, and the message to her was clear. You, yes you, Sarah, are damaged goods. She sat there feeling terrible about herself and envying those other teens she assumed were so pure. Some of you might be envying people who seem more holy, more clean, more pure. Perhaps you feel like damaged goods. Well, there are two things you need to know. One, lots of people have stories from their past that might surprise you. Two, you are not damaged goods. You are fearfully and wonderfully made and loved by God with a love beyond your imagination. It's true that bad choices bring consequences. That's part of Gomer's story. But consequences are different from shame, indignity, and dishonor. Hear that again. Consequences are different from shame, indignity, and dishonor. You are not damaged goods. You are the apple of God's eye with great potential. Remember, change requires new thinking about yourself and new thinking about your choices. Real spiritual change requires admitting the wrongness of certain choices and turning from them. So don't explain it away anymore. Don't blame it on your family or on society. Don't say, oh, well, we're all human. In the words of Jeremiah 3:13, acknowledge your guilt and then turn. If you've hurt people, try and make it right. If you need to be reconciled to your family, ask if you can come talk. If once you were part of a church, then go back. If you're not yet a follower of Jesus, pray now to offer Him all you have and all you are. God has offered to you His grace, His unconditional, undeserved, unlimited, unrelenting love. And as it reads in 2 Corinthians 6, we urge you not to receive God's grace in vain. There's something I never had thought about until I was preparing for today. We don't know how Gomer responded. Oh, come on, Travis. I can't imagine Gomer saying no to such love as the love of Hosea. Her life was a mess. She had lost everything and ended up trafficked. Anyone in her right mind would have gone home with someone as loving as Hosea. I agree. But lots of folks have turned down such invitations. After all, going back would mean facing her friends, the work of raising children, the mundane tasks of housework, and the Herculean task of rebuilding a marriage. It's at least conceivable that she refused Hosea's offer. Hosea could pay the ransom price, but Gomer had to choose her freedom. In the same way, God will not impose Himself on us. He will not coerce us. He will not strong-arm us. He will woo us, to use a rather old-fashioned term. He will lovingly pursue us. God will invite you to the party, but He won't force you to come. There's a great movie, Redeeming Love, based on the story of Hosea and Gomer. In the movie, a prostitute named Angel represents Gomer. Angel's life began to change when a gracious man named Michael Hosea said to her, "You did not choose the life you have, but you can choose the life you want." Don't miss that. You did not choose the life you have, but you can choose the life you want. Your life as it is might not have been your preference, your plan, but you do have a choice going forward. God, who loves you more than you can imagine, gave His Son Jesus as the price for your redemption. And now, well, the choice is yours.
You are the Word in the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation,
Tennessee Valley Church means church has left the building. So has membership. Here's what I mean. You might be feeling a need or maybe even a call from God to be part of our church family in a more tangible way. If you're not able to join us physically here at 600 Governors Drive, whether because of distance, mobility, schedule, or some other reason, you still can be a member of First Baptist Huntsville. Let me send you information on what that would mean, what you could expect from your church, and what your church would expect from you. Email me at travis@fbchsv.org. Let me know of your desire for membership, and I'll help you get started. Join hands with us as we attempt to join hands with God Himself in His mission to the world.